This is the 2021 Kia Sorento X-Line. It has been completely redesigned for its fourth generation. If you're not aware, Kia is currently selling 7 SUVs. The Sorento is a little bit bigger than the Sportage, a little bit smaller than the Telluride. The question becomes, in a world that's gone mad with SUV hunger, is the new Sorento worth your hard-earned money? Let's find out. Small SUVs are getting bigger. Back in 2003, when we first saw the Sorento, it was a smaller two-row SUV. Now, as you can see, it's grown quite a bit, and it has a third row, although it's not a real third row. Think of it more as a emergency use case third row. What does the Sorento compete with? All sorts of SUVs. Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, Subaru Outback, even the Toyota Highlander, which is a 3-row vehicle, even though that third row, like this one, is a little tight. I can't believe I'm saying this, but dang, that is a good-looking Sorento. It's just another example of Kia's world-class design team knocking it out of the park. It's aggressive looking, it's unique looking without looking crazy. Here's something that's really funny. These are 20-inch wheels, and they actually look small. There's such a humongous opening there, meaning you could stick 22s on your Sorento, just like you've always dreamed of. Does look pretty good. Look, all the SUV traits are here. You know, you've got the flat fenders with the black plastic cladding on them, even though you're never gonna go off-road. I wanna highlight this little flourish here. A lot of manufacturers struggle with this. Why do you put that there? Because there's a lot of metal and you wanna break up the area. There's a little bit of black plastic cladding down there on the bottom. It breaks up the otherwise thick doors, but something else that breaks up those doors. They managed to sneak in this little curve, this little double bubble. It's totally unnecessary at this price point. They didn't need to do this, but they did, and it looks fantastic. I even like this weird little kicked up thing on the C-pillar here. And then you get out back and it just looks like a tough SUV, and that's what you want. Once again, hats off to the Kia design team. Normally, the interior design part of a modern Kia review goes something like, the exterior is incredible, and the interior is pretty good, and there's a lot of features, blah, blah, blah. Not with the Sorento. I think the interior actually outshines the pretty dang good exterior. You know, if I were to cover this badge up and say, hey, this is the insides of a new $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 SUV, you'd look around and say, well, this one part right here looks a little cheap, but everything else is really nice. I mean, look at these door handles. Look at the metalwork, specifically these vents. This is fantastic. Look, it's got a split design. Kia is really pushing it. Then you've got this wood. It looks really, really nice. And these seats, right? I mean, look at, first of all, the leather's really nice, and then you've got the diamond pattern. So what you're starting to see is a trickle-down effect from the Genesis luxury brand, you know, specifically this kind of leather. This screen, right? You have big screens this size on the Genesis. Why not put them into Kias? And so you get this very big, very usable, very legible screen, and they're pushing the software design, which is something that almost no manufacturer is doing. Look, they've got these cool little vacuum tubes that display the radio station, right? It's a little thing, but as a buyer, you're like, aha, that's clever, that's cool. I spent my money well. Speaking of spending your money well, the second row is spacious. This is a very big second row. Also, it has optional captain's chairs. So instead of 3 across seating, it seats 2. So that means if you're gonna use the Sorento as a 3-row vehicle, kids can scramble between the seats to get back to the third row. The third row is tight. There's no other way to put it. It's for little children. With the third row stowed, there is a ton of space for cargo. With the third row up, there's not very much at all. As for performance, the X-Line here is a bit of a bruiser. There is a 2.5-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder that makes 281 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. That's more than the 2-liter turbo in the Alfa Romeo Stelvio. All that power is hooked up to an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, and it powers all 4 wheels. As a result, it's pretty quick in a straight line. However, we have noticed that this engine and this transmission, they're not a perfect marriage, so at times the shifts feel a little clunky, as does the handling. And you know, Kia, they struggle dynamically. The Sorento, sadly, is no different. As for fuel economy, 21 miles per gallon in the city, 28 miles per gallon on the highway. There is a price you pay for something this big having all that power. Moving on. We're happy to report that the all-new Sorento is safe. The IIHS has called it a top safety pick, and it comes standard with all sorts of automatic safety features like emergency pedestrian braking and lane keeping assist. Plus, this has active video blind spot monitoring. What is that? You turn on your turn signal in either direction, and either the tachometer or the speedometer is replaced by a high-resolution video feed of what's in your blind spot. Once you experience it, you will say, why doesn't every single car have this? It is that good of a safety feature. How much? Okay, you can get into a Sorento for as little as $31,010. That's right, and $10. However, the X line here, which is top and fully optioned, it's a bit over $44,000. So you can see there's a pretty wide price spread in the Sorento range. What about the competition? Well, back to that $31,010. That's about $1,000 more than a Honda CR-V. It's a couple thousand more than a base Subaru Outback. However, the Toyota Highlander L starts at over $36,000. So depending on options, the Sorento can be a very good value. If there's one thing I want you to know about the all-new 2021 Kia Sorento X-Line, it's that I'm impressed. Look, I am not a three-row SUV kind of dude, but there's something about this one. Maybe it's the green paint, maybe it's the 281 horsepower, 300 pound-feet of torque. It looks great, and it has that interior, and it's a three-row when you need it. Back to the initial question, in a world gone mad with SUV fever, is the Sorento worth your money? I argue yes. Yes, it is. To see vehicle rankings and a complete buyer's guide, please visit motortrend.com/cars.